Okay,
Go
well, thank
ahead.
you everyone for allowing me to come and speak to you today. My name is Diane Corrinne Buck, and my father and stepmother are a part of your group. You probably know him. I am guessing, is Bill. He might be William. I don't know how he's showing up or if he's here. Hi, Dad. If you're here, hi. Um, he had reached out to me. Let me give you a little bit of background as to why I'm joining you today. I have run a number of cooking classes. I was an owner of a gourmet store for a number of years, and as part of my store ownership, I taught a number of classes on um, whether it was kitchen techniques or it was recipe building, it was building a pantry, um, using different products in our store, and healthy eating were largely the components of the items that I would train people on who came um, and attended classes in my store. Recently, I was out with my parents and they had asked me to do some food prep for them. And at that time, he had said, would there be um, the availability for you to come and speak to the group about how to do some of the things that I had done at their house to make food prep easier for them, how to pass that knowledge on to other people. So in the chat, I believe Renee uploaded a PDF for you guys, and I think it also came out via email. Some of you may have printed it out, some of you may not have. I have it right here, and I can share my screen if it's helpful. These are meant to be very basic tips and means of assistance for you guys to um, utilize in your own homes to be able to make it easy um, to do some preparation and eat healthy. So one of the challenges that we have, I think, in the American diet is that it's much easier now because of convenience foods to compose a diet that is largely takeout or is convenience foods, which in many cases is filled with excessive fats or sugars or salts, which are just not great for any of us. Processed foods, things called industrial chemicals or industrial ingredients, that's actually the name of them. Things like lecithins, different silicons, silicates, artificial ingredients, or components that frankly trick your body into thinking that it tastes good when in reality it's not healthy for you. One of the challenges I think that comes from just life in general is that it seems to be a lot easier to go through a drive-through or to order takeout than it is to make stuff at home that is tasty, it's healthy, and is minimal effort. And so what I've prepared for you guys today, I just took my screen off a blur. You can see all my books in the background, my antique typewriter, is I prepared these little handouts here to make it as easy as possible to set yourself up for success, because so many things concerning healthy eating have to do with making sure you have what you need in advance at home, handy and ready to go. Because if things are easy to pull together into a meal, you will not pick up the phone and make a call for takeout, and it'll be easier to make the healthy food at home than it is to run out um, and to buy something processed. So what I wanted to do is go through a couple of things in my sheets here, talk to you about what I do in my kitchen and what I trained people in the 10 years that I had my store to do in theirs. And I figure that's going to take maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And then I want to open the floor to allow you to ask me questions about some of the challenges that you may be coming across as you are needing to prepare food in the kitchen for yourself or your loved ones, how to make that process easier, how to replicate maybe dishes that you like to order out or that you like to have at restaurants at home in a healthier manner. And just kind of in general answer any questions that I can do to make the whole process of creating food and healthy meals at home as easy as possible. So I also have a couple of kind of my favorite kitchen equipment items here, because I know one of the challenges with the FSHD population is the is like the weight of ingredients and the ability to stand at a kitchen counter for a long period of time, or to do some of that, what we would call processing of, meats or vegetables to be able to make the meals or cook them at the stove. So I have some things over here kind of to my right that I'll get to in just a little bit, when we get to the second page of my handouts, to show you the equipment that I use literally every day, to make life as easy as possible for preparing meals at home. So on my handout, the very first page says 4 steps to healthy eating. And I think I can pull this up on my screen. Let me know if you guys can see it. Is it showing up?
Not yet.
Okay. I think I have screen share. If not, you guys can pull it up through the chat. So is anyone seeing it yet? If not, I'll go ahead and minimize this and go and just kind of show you this.
Did you click the share the screen button? I think it's usually red.
I did, but for some reason technology is great.
I know.
Like, it works until it doesn't. What are we going to do? So I'm going to go ahead. These are, they're just bullets. So, I can just kind of tell you a couple of little things that I do here. And then if you guys can pull down the PDFs at your leisure to kind of know, there's not a lot of reading. There's not a lot of content. So there's 4 things that, I use as steps to healthy eating in my house. So the first is make a plan. So every week, I sit down and I very loosely meal plan what I want to have for the week. Do I need breakfast every day? Do I have a meeting that's going to make me not available for a traditional dinner and I need something quick? Do I have, dinner with friends scheduled, whatever? And I just write a list of what I'm in the mood for. I've had a lot of chicken lately, don't want chicken, but I kind of want pork. I want more vegetarian. I want to do more meatless. I've been craving pasta, whatever it is. I make just a list of the basics that I am looking to eat. And if you're not comfortable with building menus on your own and you're unsure kind of where to start, I don't know if you can see on my tablet here. Let me get close to this. This is an app that you can get on your iPad, and it's called Meal Lime. Meal like I'm eating a meal, and lime like I'm gonna squeeze lime into my fajitas. And it's all one word, Meal Lime. What I like about this app is it's free. So it's free to download, it's free to use. You do not have to pay for it. The other thing that I like about it is that you can put your food preferences and your meal preferences in. So say you're gluten-free, say you're dairy-free, say you're like me and you have a seafood and a fish allergy, say you are sodium restricted. You can go in when you set up this site and put any of those restrictions in, including things like your skill level. Are you a more adept kind of, proficient cook? Are you more of a boil water kind of cook? You can specify what kind of skill set that you have, and then it'll build menus for you. And I don't know if you can really kind of see this. It's hard. I'm sitting in front of a window, so I'm lit, but then I get a glare. So when you scroll through, there's a little button that says start your next meal plan. And as you can see, as I scroll through, it gives you all of these options, just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of choices for breakfasts, for lunches, for dinners, vegetarian options, quick meals, few ingredient meals. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can select what you want. If you need lunches, if you're looking for bigger meals that maybe make more portions so you can freeze them off, you can select all that here. And then when you select a meal, it gives you, and again, this is kind of hard to see, but it gives you all the ingredients you need. And then there's also a list of all the equipment that you need to make the recipe. And then there's also the instructions. So everything is right here. And if you're used to working on an iPad, you can there's a little toggle that's like a cooking toggle. And then you set it as an easel and you can have it right on your counter as you work. The other nice thing about this is that when you build your meal plan for the week, there's a little option that says make a grocery list. And when you tap on that, it makes your whole grocery list for you, which is awesome. So once by the way, there's lots and lots of options like this. Meal lime is one of my favorites. There's one called paprika, like the spice. And what paprika does that's really cool is you can put in the ingredients that you have in your kitchen. So say you have some onions and you have some rice and you have some cream of chicken soup and you have some chicken cutlets in the freezer. You can put all those things in and it will give you recipes for making a meal using the ingredients you already have on hand, which is fantastic because then you're like, 90% of your work is kind of done. So that's called paprika. Again, like the spice, all recipes, all encompassing all recipes. And of course, Food Network. There's lots of places too. You can get on Google and just search for free recipe apps. And I recommend you do that. This one from Meal Line came recommended to me actually from one of my customers when I had the store, and I use it regularly. The other really nice thing about the Meal Line app is if you find something you really love, you can favorite it and it will keep showing up on your roster. So you can even build a recipe list and like a living recipe book so that when you need to make the list at the beginning of the week, and you're planning out your meals, you can go into your favorites and like look through and be like, oh, I want chicken fried rice, or oh, I want, pork chops with, with a mustard sauce or whatever you're looking for, and it'll all be right there. So the next thing then, once you've made your plan, is you're going to make a list. So if you're using something like one of these apps, they'll build the list for you, or you can build the list on your own. So again, we are a tech-based family here in this house, and I'm sorry? Oh, I thought I heard someone, I guess I didn't. So I use a system called Our Groceries. Again, I don't know how well you can see that. You can build different groceries by grocery stores, and then it keeps like a record of all the stuff that you built, you've purchased in the past. But some other things to consider is a lot of grocery stores have app-based systems now. So I know we're, from talking to Renee, the group is kind of spread all over the US. So there's lots of different, grocery stores. You might be like Albertsons people, you might be Jewel, you might be Aldi, I'm an Aldi girl, you might be a Costco person, et cetera, depending on, what your grocery store is. Almost every grocery store now has a free app. And what's nice about the apps is that as you're going through your cooking or you're doing whatever you need at home, you can just tap on the ingredients you need and build a shopping list. And then if you have, maybe mobility challenges or other things that you need assistance with, you can even build that grocery list right in the app and have a personal shopper prepare that for you for curbside pickup. So that makes it even easier for you to build in real time. You say, okay, I am going to be at Mariano's at 6:00 on Tuesday. You pull up into the spot, you call them on the phone, because they usually have little signs that say, call us when you're here and what bay you're in. And you call the number and you say, my name is Diane. I'm in lot 2, spot 2, and I'm ready for my pickup. And then they wheel everything out to your car and load it into your car for you. So that's some other things to consider to make it really easy for you. My husband and I used it a lot during COVID, and we use it a lot when we're both really busy with work. He has his own practice, and I oversee the franchise company of the store that I originally purchased. So we're both very, very, very busy. And having the ability to just pull up into a parking space and have our groceries put in our car for us sometimes is a lifesaver. So I would definitely investigate what stores in your area might have an app-based system where you can build those grocery lists right on the app. And then if you're someone who, like my dad, loves a grocery store, you can have it right on your phone. And as you're going, you can put it right in the cart and scroll through, the different aisles, pick out what you need. And as you tap on the items, it removes them from the shopping list. So it's a lot easier. Maybe if you have some dexterity challenges with pens and things like that, you can use the technology to your benefit. Or my favorite way is voice. I do everything voice to text now. I don't like this. I'm like, hey Siri, build me a shopping list. So doing the voice to text is really helpful too. If you remember you need, toothpaste and onions and, aluminum foil while you're driving somewhere, you can just pick up your phone and talk into your phone and it'll tell you. So the third point then that I want to make for my prep steps is stock your pantry. So by stock your pantry, I don't necessarily mean have a ton of groceries in there at all time that are highly perishable. I mean, think about the things that you like to eat or that you do eat the most frequently and make sure that you have them on hand. So I broke this down on the handout here into three kind of basic subcategories. The first is things you're going to keep in your pantry. The second is things you're going to keep in your fridge. And the third is things you're going to keep in your freezer. So stuff you can find in my kitchen at all times, chicken or vegetable stock, because I use it for almost everything, tomato paste and tomato sauce, rice, quinoa, couscous, any one of those kind of quick cooking, easy to produce grains. I always have garlic and onion and shallots, olive oil, and then a basic spice pantry. So, of course, I owned a spice store for a number of years. My spice pantry is 2 drawers and half of a cabinet, plus an additional secondary cabinet that's all condiments. It's a little overboard. I'm not saying do that. But, even if you're a pretty basic palate kind of person where you don't like, heavy flavors, a really good quality salt and fresh whole peppercorn or even fresh ground pepper is a great basic to start with. So some sort of sweetener, maybe you're an agave or a honey or a sugar person. There's always room for a little bit of sweetness in a dish. Those are the kinds of things that are just helpful to have on hand. If you have them on hand, you have a much better chance of pulling together a meal quickly and easily when you keep a pantry stocked. And in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to give you some examples of how you can do that. In the fridge, I always keep eggs because eggs are a complete protein. They're always really easy to cook in a wide variety of ways. I see we have someone from Spain here. So the potato and egg tortilla is on big rotation in our house. We love that. Kind of like a frittata. I keep citrus. I keep a good selection of lemons, oranges, and limes because they add great acidity, even to something like rice. If you're making rice and you want to make something quickly, you can squeeze a little lemon over it and it gives it a little bit more flavor than it would if you just made plain rice. We keep milk of some sort, usually milk for cooking, and then a non-dairy based or non-animal based milk for other, cereal or French toast or things of that nature. I usually keep a couple of different types of cheeses. I might keep a goat or a feta, things that are easy to put into sauces, salads, again, into rice pilafs and dishes like that. And then I keep some basic carrots, celery, bell peppers, and Greek yogurt always in my fridge. Again, they're just basics you can use in almost anything. And then finally, in my freezer, I keep plain frozen vegetables. I saw someone that posted about the steamable vegetables in the bag. I'm not a fan of those personally. I also don't use my microwave. I'm like not a microwave person. I just keep the plain non-steamable vegetables. I also keep a lot of the vegetable mixes. So I'll keep stir fry vegetables. I keep like Italian blend, California blend, because again, you can turn those into a lot of things very quickly. So you can take a vegetable medley, maybe with a can of tomato sauce and a little bit of basil and oregano, some salt and pepper, and now you have a really nice tomato-based pasta primavera that can take minutes to make because you're just warming up the pasta sauce and or the tomato sauce, you're adding the frozen vegetables in, you're cooking the pasta, and now you have a meal. Very simple. And then I also keep some frozen meats of different types in individual packs. And that's because sometimes I want pork chops for dinner. Sometimes I want chicken for dinner. And if I keep it in an individual pack, If I want to cook just for my husband and I can. Or if I want to cook for the neighbors and us, or if I want to cook multiple portions, I can take out as much as I need at one time. So I try to keep it in individual packs. And again, so many grocery stores, and we'll talk about that again in just a second. So many grocery stores offer this now to get individual portion sizes that it's so much easier to be able to stock for smaller households than it was maybe when I was a kid a number of years ago. And then finally, I keep frozen fruit and berries in the freezer all the time because you can make a quick dessert with them. You can make a smoothie with them. You can throw them on oatmeal if you are an oatmeal person. I am not an oatmeal person. But if you are, great. I even mix them in with things like, quick breads or muffins. They're just really, really nice to have on hand. Or, on times when the weather is nice and you want a really light, fresh dessert, you can get an angel food cake and defrost a little bit of the frozen vegetables, and now you have a really light calorie but refreshing kind of spring summer dessert for when you have that little bit of sweet tooth. Also great for I love what we call in our house Brenner, breakfast at dinner. If we're making French toast or pancakes or a Dutch baby or something for dinner, I'll defrost a little bit of the fruit to put on top instead of syrup. So just a couple of things to think about there. And then the fourth thing that I use, that I tell everyone for healthy eating, is make friends with your grocer, make friends with your farmer's market, make friends with, if you are farmer's market people, anyone who you get your food from, get to know those people, because they will not only tell you what's in season and what looks good or doesn't look good, like, oh, we just got this shipment in of new corn and it's fresh out of the field, you're definitely going to want corn. They may also tell you, the salmon that came in does not look as good this time and the price isn't that good. And they can help you by directing you to look for the freshest, highest quality items that are available in your market, or if you do farmers markets or if you do farm stands, you can get the best quality stuff. They also know all the little tips. So much of what I have learned about prepping, I have learned from the farmers I had gotten to know at farmers markets when I sold my spices right next to their tomatoes and their kohlrabi and their broccoli. And so we would share a lot of ideas. So I definitely think it's always helpful to get to know not just your food provider, but talk to, those, even information sharing within this group, or, if you're part of a church or religious community, if you, are part of a library group, so much of what we get to know, we know from the people around us. So asking for tips and tricks and recipes is great. So that's the first part. That's the 4 steps for healthy eating. And now I'm going to talk about how to easily prepare things at home. So one of the things that Renee and I had talked about in the early stages of planning this is she had expressed that there are members of the I always get this wrong, guys. I'm so sorry. FSHD group. You'd think I would know better because I hear about it all the time, but I always get my letters mixed up. About the challenges of standing in front of the kitchen counter for a long period of time, and how that physically can be very tiring, how it can be challenging with mobility challenges. I know, some of the challenges that my father has had just as he has gone through some of the medical challenges he's had in the past couple of years, that standing in front of a counter for a long period of time and chopping onions or chopping broccoli or chopping, shallots or whatever can be really challenging. So I have 2 tips for that. The first is grocery stores now, even places that are more value brands like Food for Less, I know is kind of a big national chain, or Aldi, offer pre-cut vegetables and pre-cut proteins, and even you can find good quality pre-cut items even in your freezer section. So I'm a big fan of that. Anytime you can take a shortcut, take a shortcut. Another option, and I have it right here, I got this a couple of years ago, so this is half of it. This is an immersion blender from Cuisinart. You can get them at Target, you can get them at Walmart. I got mine at Amazon. This was $29. It came with 4 pieces. So this is the immersion blender part, and it clicks on like this. And then you can, whiz it around to like break up smoothies and things like that. Comes with a little cup that this goes down in. So if you want to make like cream soups or something like that, you can put right into the pot and whiz it around, and it'll froth it and make it really, really creamy. But it also comes with this. And what you may not be able to tell, and again, I apologize, this clicks onto here. And this is a teeny tiny little food processor that is just tabletop size. There's your little blade, if you can kind of see. Let me do it this way. There's your little blade. And here's your little basket. And it holds, I don't know, about 3 cups, I think. Yeah, 3 cups in total. And you can put your onions and your celery and anything else you need to chop in here. And this just snaps right on top. And then I don't have it plugged in, of course, but this just connects right to the top like that. And then you give it a little zhuzh, and it does all your chopping in seconds. And it just sits flat on your counter. All of this bottom part here, not this motor up here, but all this bottom part, right in the dishwasher. Every single bit of it is dishwasher safe. So it will take you seconds to do this. And what's nice about it is if you run to the grocery store and maybe the day after the grocery store, you have a little more energy and you're feeling kind of good, like you have a little bit more mobility, you can go and do all of this at once. Cut up all of your onions, cut up all of your celery, cut up all of your carrots, put them in little zipper top bags or little containers and put them in the fridge. And they'll hold in there for a week to 10 days. And then when you need what you need, you can just scoop out the 1/4 cup or scoop out the 1/2 cup, whatever your recipe calls for, a couple of tablespoons, and then right into your pan. So you're not having to stand every single day and process vegetables. It makes it so much easier. But there's no shame in those little the little clamshell containers that are in. I just did it last weekend. I made a big old thing of Spanish rice in my little cooker here, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And I bought all pre-cut bell peppers, onions, celery, carrots, because I did not have the time or energy to sit. Even though I love chopping vegetables, I didn't have the time for it. So having those little containers, you do pay a little bit more for them, but they are so much easier to be able to prepare that stuff at home. So you don't have to worry so much about the time and limitations. We already talked a little bit about taking it online to use apps like the apps for grocery curbside pickup. There's things like Instacart and places, even care.com is, if you're familiar with care.com is another app where you can hire someone to just pick up your groceries for you. So they will come home, they'll help you by putting them away. And you can get curbside pickup or curbside delivery as well. So there's a lot of different options that technology, especially post-COVID, has made it really easy for people to get assistance if they have a hard time, carrying a lot of grocery bags in and out of the house. The next thing that I am a huge fan of for prepping at home are slow cookers and Instant Pots. So here I have my very favorite of all. I am not an Instant Pot user because I don't use the pressure cooker, but this is one from a company called Aroma. I bought this at Costco, and this does everything. It does rice, it does brown rice and white rice. It slow cooks. It does a sear option, and then you can slow cook it. It's a steamer. It does the whole thing. So you literally dump your ingredients in here, put the lid on, hit the button in the front, and then you set it for whatever time you need. And when you come back, dinner is ready. So this is a great option for quick meals as well. As I opened it up and knocked it over. And this comes with it comes with a steamer basket. It has a really, it has a non-stick bowl, cooking vessel on the inside. Again, 100% dishwasher proof. So it can go right in the dishwasher for easy cooking. And it's really easy to use. And then the last 2 tips are, one is regarding sheet pan meals. Sheet pan meals are another thing that kind of became really popular, I think, around the time of COVID. And a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about in just a few minutes is meant to all go together on a sheet pan, 375 to 400 degrees, and then it all cooks at the same time and you have a meal. So I recommend with sheet pan meals, keep some foil or some parchment paper on hand, and then you don't even have to clean the pan at the end, which I am always a fan of because I hate cleaning. I love cooking. I hate cleaning. So if you can wrap your sheet pan in some foil, they even have nonstick foil available now so that you don't even have to worry about any food sticking or using excessive spray. You put your proteins and your vegetables all in the same thing. 375 to 400 degrees, and between 20 and 40 minutes, you have a complete meal, all cooked together all at the same time. And then finally, I have it here on the list as do a double take. I always cook extra. There's 2 of us in the house. I will make a minimum of 4 portions. If I'm making something like stews or soups or pastas, I will make a full like 8 to 10 portions, and then I portion them down into small portions, and I'll either freeze them for quick meals or we'll have them for lunches for the rest of the week. So there's lots of great options for pulling stuff together really quickly. If you're going to do the work, do it once, and then you've bought yourself some time for the rest of the week. Okay, so now my last sheet here, and I know there's a lot of fine writing on here, but hopefully you guys can download this and see it. One of the things I used to teach a lot at my store was what I called Garanimals eating. Does everyone remember Garanimals? I feel like that's a thing from like my childhood, which, inspired all of us kids to like have to dress ourselves, much to our parents' chagrin. But this pick, I have it as pick 3 for dinner. But the idea is that it's Garanimals in food form. So we have a column here for flavors and spices, a protein, a vegetable, and a starch. So the protein, the vegetable, and starch are your pick 3. And then your seasoning is how you season it. So what I've done is I've kind of classed things together to say, okay, I'm in kind of a barbecue sort of mood. How can I do that easily? Well, I pick my protein. Maybe I do chicken or I do salmon. Then I pick my veggies. I'm going to do some broccolini and some squash. And then for starch, I might do some potatoes. And I can put all those things together and season them all with a barbecue seasoning. And they can go right into a sheet pan dinner. And I'm set for a quick meal. Or maybe I want to do something that's, Mexican inspired. Well, I can do ground chicken or pork, and I can put in bell peppers and corn and maybe some beans. And then I put it all into the slow cooker with some taco seasoning or some, one of those packets of adobo seasoning, which is like it's more of a liquidy sauce. And I set it on slow cook for low, and I serve it with some tortillas, and I have a full meal and very few steps. And so I gave kind of some basics here of some like kind of common, there's options for Indian, there's options for Italian, there's options for Asian, and then the different types of protein that are typically found in that cuisine, the different types of vegetables in that cuisine. And then if you wanted a starch, what kind of starch would match up? And all of those will work in this slow cooker, like I just showed you, or in a sheet pan. And you don't have to worry about any special type of seasoning. You could just pick the seasoning here. Like, there's lots of different sauces available in the market. There's lots of pre-made spice mixes in the market that you just sprinkle it on or you drizzle it on. And then you cook it really quickly and you have a nice meal. So these are meant to be less recipes and more methods. So you kind of build by, you make a plan and you pick all of your stuff and you shop your pantry, and then you use these shortcuts to prepare the meal. And then these are the ingredients that you would use to actually create your final meals. So I went a little bit longer. I'm a little chatty. Having kind of given you all those tips, I did see, Rick, you asked, do I freeze my lemon and lime juice? I don't, because I use lemon and lime so frequently in my house that I don't really need to do any freezing of that, but you certainly could. There's again lots of fresh juices and things in the market that you can buy for lemon and lime if you don't want to keep the citrus available. Okay, so Dan, I see you raised your hand. Let me see if I can.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
there we go.
stop the recording.
Okay, thank
Stop.
you.